You wake up in a warm bed. You hit snooze. You scroll your phone. You convince yourself you'll start later. That's not self-care. That's self-sabotage in disguise. Comfort is the silent killer of ambition. It wraps around you like a blanket, whispering lies. You've earned rest. You deserve ease. Take it slow. But let me tell you something, success doesn't live in comfort. It lives in pain, in pressure, in chaos. You want to be rich, respected, powerful. Then you have to become a machine. And machines don't get tired. They don't whine. They don't look for shortcuts. They execute every damn day. People say you should enjoy life. Of course you should. But you enjoy life after the grind, not instead of it. Comfort is for those who've already built empires, not for the man still stacking bricks. You sit back too soon, and you'll watch everything crumble. Comfort kills urgency. It blinds you to your potential. It whispers that you're doing enough, when you know damn well you're capable of more. Discomfort is the compass. If it scares you, if it hurts, if it breaks you down, that's the right direction. Stop chasing comfort. Chase discomfort. Chase the pain of early mornings, of discipline, of rejection, of failure. Because every time you suffer, you sharpen. Every time you bleed, you build. Your future isn't written by what you do when you feel good. It's written by what you do when you don't. When it's cold, when it's lonely, when no one believes in you. That's where the real work begins. So, stand up, step out, be uncomfortable, be dangerous. Because comfort is your enemy, and you were not born to be soft. Comfort breeds weakness. Growth demands discomfort. That's a truth most people will never accept because they're addicted to the easy path. They want results without resistance. They want strength without sacrifice. They want greatness without going through hell to get it. But life doesn't work that way. If it's easy, it's useless. If it's comfortable, it's costing you. The human body, the human mind, and the human spirit were built for battle, not for rest. When you avoid discomfort, you're avoiding the very thing that forges you into something powerful. You think sitting around in your room with perfect air conditioning, a full stomach, and endless entertainment is living. That's not living. That's sedating yourself. That's sinking into a slow death day by day while convincing yourself that you're okay. You're not okay. You're soft. And the world is sharpening its blades. You grow when you're tired, but you keep going. You grow when you're afraid, but you act anyway. You grow when everything hurts, and still you don't quit. Discomfort is nature's pressure cooker. It breaks down the weak parts of you so that the strong parts can emerge. You look at any man who's built something that matters. He didn't get there by taking the easy road. He didn't get there by waiting until it felt right. He got there by suffering, by walking into fire, by doing what needed to be done regardless of how it made him feel. Feelings are temporary. Discipline is forever. Comfort tells you to wait, to rest, to slow down. But discomfort tells you to move. It tells you to climb. It tells you to become more than you were yesterday. Every time you choose comfort, you're choosing to stay exactly the same. That's the harsh truth. You're saying no to progress, no to evolution, no to your future. That workout you skipped because your bed was warm, that was a rep you'll never get back. That conversation you avoided because it was awkward, that was a door that will never open again. That risk you didn't take because it was scary, that was your future calling, and you sent it to voicemail. You didn't grow. You stayed safe. You stayed weak. You stayed small. If you want to separate yourself from the average, you have to seek out discomfort. You have to learn to crave it. The pain, the struggle, the grind, that's where the magic happens. That's where the real breakthroughs are born. Not in the moments when it's easy, but in the moments when everything inside you screams for you to stop, and you don't. That's power. That's growth. That's transformation. And no, it's not supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be easy. If it was, everyone would be exceptional. But most people aren't, because most people choose comfort. Most people choose to stay soft. And that's exactly why you shouldn't. You weren't made to live in a bubble. You were made to fight, to build, to overcome. Stop looking for the path of least resistance. Start chasing the path of most growth. And growth always lies where it hurts. The moment you start embracing discomfort, not as a punishment, but as a gift, that's the moment you start becoming unstoppable. Because weakness dies in discomfort. And greatness is born every single time. Hard times create strong men, easy times create weak ones. That's the law of nature, the law of survival, and the law of reality. You can deny it, you can ignore it, but you can't escape it. When life gets hard, when it punches you in the mouth, when everything falls apart, that's when a man is either built or broken. And the truth is, most people today are weak because their lives are too easy. They've never had to fight. They've never been tested. They've never been forced to survive under pressure. So they crumble the moment things get tough. But that's not how warriors are made. Warriors are forged in chaos, in darkness and struggle. You think the strongest men in history came from peaceful, comfortable times. No, they came from war, from poverty, from trauma, from grinding day in and day out with no safety net, no backup plan, no one to rescue them. Ease is a trap. The moment your life becomes too convenient, too predictable, too soft, you begin to lose your edge. You stop being sharp. You stop being hungry. You stop being dangerous. And when a man loses his edge, he becomes a target. Not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, financially, he becomes weak. And weakness invites destruction. If your life is easy right now, don't celebrate. Be afraid. Because that ease is dulling your instincts. That comfort is making you forget that the world doesn't owe you anything. The wolves are still out there. Life will eventually hit you. And when it does, if you haven't suffered, if you haven't trained yourself to be hard, then it will break you. You'll fold like a cheap chair and wonder why. But it's because you were never built to handle pressure in the first place. The best thing that can happen to a man is adversity. Struggle is a gift in disguise. It gives you something most people never have: resilience. The ability to keep moving forward when everyone else gives up. The ability to fight when your back is against the wall. The ability to suffer without complaining. That's power. That's strength. That's what separates leaders from followers, predators from prey, champions from spectators. And you don't get that from comfort. You get that from pain. From grinding when no one's watching. From pushing yourself when everything inside you is screaming to quit. You earn it when you face hard times and don't run. You face them head on and say, bring it. Easy times, on the other hand, turn people into fragile, entitled shells. They whine when Wi-Fi is slow. They panic when life doesn't go their way. They've been coddled so long they think every inconvenience is a crisis. That's not strength. That's decay. That's what happens when a man lives too soft for too long. He forgets what he's made of. And when that moment of truth finally comes, when he's called to rise and fight, he's got nothing left. No backbone, no fire, just excuses. If you want to be strong, pray for hard times. Beg for them, because when the storm comes, and it will, you'll either be the one who's destroyed or the one who becomes unstoppable. And that depends on what you've been through, what you've overcome, and what kind of man you've become in the process. Easy times are the enemy. Hard times are your advantage. They reveal you. They sharpen you. And in the end, they crown you. If you're not suffering, you're not evolving. That's the reality. Everyone wants to grow. Everyone wants to level up. Everyone wants success. But no one wants the suffering that comes with it. They want transformation without the pain, but that's not how it works. Growth isn't some pretty motivational concept. It's ugly. It's brutal. It's exhausting. Growth means sacrifice. It means going to war with your weakness every single day. If life feels easy, it means you're not pushing hard enough. It means you're standing still. And if you're standing still, you're falling behind. Because somewhere out there is a man grinding through pain, pushing past limits, embracing the suffering that you run from. And he's going to take what you thought was yours. Suffering is the gateway. You want to build a stronger body. You suffer through workouts that tear your muscles apart so they can rebuild stronger. You want a sharper mind. You suffer through failures, confusion, late nights, and constant challenges. You want emotional strength. You suffer through heartbreak, betrayal, loneliness. And instead of collapsing, you rise. That's the price. And every time you avoid that suffering, you're avoiding growth. You're staying soft. You're staying average. You're letting fear win. Most people think suffering is a sign something's wrong. It's not. It's a sign you're doing something right. It's a signal that you've left your comfort zone, that you've entered the zone where real change happens. The man who avoids suffering is the man who will never know his true potential. He'll never know what he's made of. He'll never know how far he could have gone. And he'll spend his life wondering, regretting, watching others rise while he stays stuck in a fantasy where life is supposed to be comfortable. But the man who embraces suffering, he's dangerous. He knows that pain is a part of the process. He doesn't wait for perfect conditions. He doesn't cry when it gets hard. He expects the pain. He welcomes it because he knows that on the other side of it, there's strength. There's clarity. There's greatness. He trains himself to be calm in the chaos, to stay disciplined when nothing is going his way, to move forward when the whole world's falling apart. And that mindset makes him unstoppable. Look around. Most people are weak not because they're incapable, but because they've never been willing to suffer for something greater than themselves. They think growth comes from reading a book or watching a video. No. Growth comes from action. From doing the hard thing, the painful thing, the thing that scares you. That's where character is built. That's where your identity is formed. The man you want to become lives on the other side of the suffering you keep avoiding. So stop running from the pain. Start seeing it for what it really is, test. Every moment of discomfort is an opportunity to level up. To separate yourself from the pack. To prove to yourself that you are not like everyone else. Because most people quit. Most people break. Most people fold. But you keep moving. You keep showing up. You suffer and you grow. That's the path. That's the way. That's how evolution happens. Not in peace, not in comfort, but in the fire. And the longer you stay in that fire, the stronger you become. Your mind is either your prison or your greatest weapon. Most people are walking around completely enslaved by their own thoughts, and they don't even realize it. They think their mind is theirs, but it's not. It's been hijacked by fear, laziness, doubt, weakness, and distractions. If you can't control your mind, someone else will. That's the truth. The world is designed to keep you docile, to keep you scrolling, eating, consuming, obeying. It doesn't want you to be strong. It doesn't want you to be free. And the first step to taking your power back is mastering your thoughts. Not just when it's easy, not just when you're motivated, but especially when you're tired, uninspired, and under pressure. That's where real mental strength is forged. Discipline starts in the mind. And if your mind is soft, your life will be soft. If your mind breaks under stress, so will your business, your relationships, your dreams. Everything follows the mind. That's why you need to treat it like a battlefield. You don't let weakness speak without challenge. You don't let excuses run wild. You don't let comfort seduce you into stillness. You stand guard at the gate of your thoughts, and you decide what gets in. Every morning you wake up, your mind is either preparing you for war or seducing you back to bed. If you listen to the voice that says, relax, you deserve it, or it's okay to skip today, you've already lost. Because that voice isn't you. That's the weakness talking. And the more you obey it, the louder it gets. To win in life, you need to build a mind that bends but doesn't break. A mind that's calm under chaos, focused under pressure, and relentless in pursuit. You train that through repetition, through choosing discipline over dopamine, through doing the hard things every single day, especially when you don't feel like it. You train your mind every time you push through fatigue, every time you control your emotions instead of reacting, every time you delay gratification to invest in your future. That's how mental muscle is built, through resistance. People want to change their lives without changing their mindset. Impossible. You can't think like a loser and live like a winner. You can't keep feeding your brain junk and expect clarity. You can't keep quitting every time it's hard and expect strength. Everything starts with how you think, your beliefs, your decisions, your actions. Each one is born in the mind. That's why mental mastery is the highest form of power. Because once you own your mind, no one can stop you. They can take your money, your job, your comfort. But if your mind is sharp, you'll rebuild it all, twice as strong. But if your mind is weak, even a small setback will destroy you. One bad day, one bad comment, one bad result, and you spiral. You need to be the master of your mind before life gives you a reason to break. You need to harden your thinking before the pressure shows up. Because when the storm hits, and it will, there won't be time to build your mindset from scratch. You'll either have the mental toughness to stand, or you'll crumble like the rest. That's the difference between a man who thrives and a man who collapses. Not talent, not luck, not privilege, just mindset. So take control, take responsibility. And every single day, sharpen your mind like your life depends on it, because it does. Success doesn't come to the man who waits. It doesn't show up at your door with a ribbon on it. It's not something you find lying around by accident. Success is seized, not stumbled upon. You either go out and take it with force, or you sit back and watch someone else live the life you wanted. That's the brutal truth. Most people are sitting around waiting for the right time, waiting for the perfect moment, waiting for motivation to magically show up. That mindset is a trap. There is no perfect time. There is no right moment. There's only now, and if you're not taking action now, you're falling behind. Because every second you hesitate, someone hungrier than you is moving forward. You don't get success by dreaming about it. You get it by bleeding for it, by putting in the work when no one's watching, by sacrificing sleep, comfort, distractions, and excuses. You think champions got where they are because they were lucky. No. They were obsessed. They were relentless. They chased their goals like their life depended on it. Because it did. They didn't ask for permission. They didn't wait for someone to give them a chance. They created their own. That's how winners think. That's how you need to think if you want to dominate anything in this life. You want to build a business. Good. Now go out and grind until it becomes real. You want to change your body. Stop talking, start training. You want to break out of mediocrity. Then burn your comfort zone to the ground and start showing up like your future is on the line, because it is. This world doesn't care about your potential. It only responds to execution. The man who acts wins. The man who hesitates loses. It's that simple. And the difference between those two men is this: one gets up every day and takes action no matter how he feels, while the other lets feelings dictate his life. Guess who ends up broke, bitter, and full of regret? Success is reserved for those who are willing to do what others won't. It's earned in silence, in suffering, in solitude. While everyone else is partying, you're working. While they're sleeping, you're planning. While they're complaining, you're executing. That's how you separate yourself. That's how you build an empire. Not by blending in, not by being average, but by becoming a savage, disciplined, focused, and unapologetically driven. People will call you obsessed. Let them. Obsession is what takes you from ordinary to legendary. It's what makes you dangerous. Because once you decide that nothing will stop you, the world has no choice but to move out of your way or get crushed in the process. So stop waiting. Stop hoping. Start moving. Whatever it is you want, go get it. No one's coming to save you. No one's going to hand it to you. You either take control or you stay a spectator. That's the game, and the clock's already ticking. Life rewards the man who can do what must be done, regardless of how he feels. That's the code. Discipline is doing the work even when you're tired, bored, uninspired, or broken. Because if your actions are based on emotion, you'll fail every time. Discipline is what separates the winners from the watchers, the elite from the average. Every man wants results, but few are willing to commit to the grind it takes to earn them. Why? Because most people operate from feeling. They move only when they're motivated, only when it's convenient, only when it feels good. But life doesn't care about your feelings. The world doesn't adjust itself to your moods. So if you're waiting to feel like it, you've already lost. Discipline doesn't ask how you feel. It demands that you execute, that you get up and train when your body aches, that you show up and work when your mind wants to quit, that you lead when others fold. It's about creating habits so solid that even when life punches you in the face, you keep moving forward. Discipline is the decision you make before emotion ever gets a say. You decide what must be done, and you do it every single day, rain or shine, joy or pain. No excuses, no compromises. Think about it. How many times have you sabotaged your own progress just because you didn't feel like it? How many goals have you left unfinished? How many opportunities missed simply because you let comfort win? That's what weak men do. They let emotion rule them. But strong men, they build systems, they build rituals. They train themselves to move forward no matter what. You see a disciplined man, you're looking at a weapon, because nothing can stop him. Disappointment, stress, failure, they're just fuel. Because he's not in this for motivation. He's in it for results. The truth is, no one is coming to motivate you every morning. No one's going to hold your hand when it gets hard. That's your job. Discipline is self-respect in action. It's saying, I said I'd do this, so I'll do it. And when you stack enough of those days, when you keep showing up no matter what, you build a life few can even imagine. You build a mindset that's unshakable, and from that power is born. The man who lives with discipline becomes the man who gets what he wants, not because he had it easier, but because he stayed consistent, because he took control, because he outworked, outlasted, and out-hustled the competition. While everyone else was waiting to feel good, he was already 10 steps ahead. That's the game. That's how winners win. So the next time you don't feel like doing what needs to be done, remember, that's the moment that defines you. That's where the war is won, not when it's easy. But when every cell in your body says stop, and you say go, that's discipline. And discipline will take you further than talent, further than luck, further than any external force ever could. Discipline is the key. All you have to do is use it.